Hey friends, I just was showing something here that I want to talk to you about today. And of course, it's Friday. It's Friday. It's a new month. It's a new time for a book club. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this live stream. There's always something going wrong if we're going live, but I'm happy that we're back. We're back in our current routine. Friday night, well, at least for me, it's Friday night at 6 p.m. here. I'm going to do a live stream, a short live stream about a book that has an impact on business building. And today it's a book about actually the Wolf of Wall Street. If you haven't heard about him yet, then please look him up. Jordan Belfort. Uh, Go see the movie. It's a great movie. But look at the movie as an entrepreneur. Look at it as a business owner. Don't just look at it for Leonardo DiCaprio. Don't just look at it for the entertainment, but look at it as a business movie. It's actually one of those movies that I can keep watching again and again and again and learn something from it. Learn how he does sales, learn how he builds a company, learn how he squanders all his money as well. But that's then the entertainment part. But the first part of the movie I really like. That's where he builds his company. And after all these years, he created a book called The Way of the Wolf. And it's a sales book. It's a sales book, and I love it. I've gone through it, I've used some of the techniques, and the techniques work. The techniques that are in the book work, right? If you are not so proficient in sales, if you're having struggles to get some conversions going, get some sales to close, once you're on a sales call with a potential customer and you have these kind of issues to really close the deal, then I urge you really to go through a book like this and to learn what you can do to improve that. Sales is a skill. It's something that I thought for a long time that I wasn't good at it, that this was for people that are extroverts, that are arrogant, that are pushy, and so on. But it's not true. Sales basically means that you're helping your ideal customer to make a decision to work with you. Now, people inherently don't like to make decisions, right? We get stressed from that. Just imagine like if you are going to a party and you have to decide what to wear, like how long does it take before you decide actually what to wear? And you would rather just not go to the party so you don't have to choose which clothes to wear, right? So that's the same thing what happens when people have to buy something, have to make a decision to actually give you money. Of course, they're not going to make a decision right away. You need some convincing, you need some influence, and you need to help them make that decision. Anyway, enough about that. That's about sales. It's a topic of this month within technology, within the Alan Proud Business Lounge. This is the topic of the month. So I'm going to do not just the book club today talking about a sales book, but also each Monday I'm going to do a live training inside the Alan Proud Business Lounge that is going to be around some of the topics that is about sales, right? So it will be a lot of different topics every single Monday. And if you want to know more about the Aaron Pratt Business Lounge, go to our site, click on Business Lounge, and look at the landing page, look at the information, sign up. You got 30 days free trial. So there is no risk whatsoever involved into that. And I'm happy to welcome you inside the Aaron Pratt Business Lounge. Anyway, on to the book. So, where is my book here? There we go. I'm gonna, yeah, like this. So the book, The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort, and his whole thing that he explains in the book, his way of selling is called the straight line. Straight line selling is what he's doing within this book, is his system. That's what he has designed. And if you go through the movie, you see at a certain point that he's in a big garage or something where he is drawing how people should sell, how his team should sell. Well, that exact way, like he describes this also here in the book. Straight line selling, which means straight line selling means that every sale is the same, right? And why straight line? Because everything you say and everything you do is designed to keep your prospect on the straight line and slowly nudge him forward from the open to the close. So once you start talking to a potential prospect, that's what it's about. Keeping them on the straight line and getting them towards the close, one step at a time. How do you do that? By talking to them, right? Now, there's a lot of things that people believe about sales. And if you talk to people, one of the things that people say is you have to build rapport, right? And I'm sure you have to build rapport because you need people to like you. First of all, if they don't like you, it's going to be hard. But at the same time, you cannot build too much rapport because it's not just about building a friendship. And he explains it by showing this in this graph right here. As you can see, so there's an open and a close, and the arrows mean that every step of the way you try to move them closer to the close. But on the right hand side, you see also Pluto and Uranus. And those areas are actually where all the bullshit happens. Meaning that if you start talking to somebody and you start talking about the weather and about their hobbies, about their kids, about their spouse, whatever it is, trying to build rapport, I mean, you can even talk about which bakery they go to, whatever. But that gets you off the straight line and into the the world of Pluto, of the world of Uranus, into a space where it's just bullshit, where it's just chit chat, where it's just not going to go anywhere. And if you keep people there, if you let them talk in those spaces, it's going to be very hard to get them back towards the straight line, towards getting them to a close. And this happens all the time. We go too far into the rapport building. And this is in every aspect of the sales process. It can happen when you're DMing people. It can happen when you're getting people on a sales call. It can happen in person. It doesn't matter. But if you want to get that close while you're talking to somebody, get them on the straight line, right? And that's what he's talking about here. So as long as you're in between those dotted lines, you're in control. If you're outside of those dotted lines, you're out of control. If you're on the straight line, it means that you're doing the talking, which is good. You don't want to do too much of the talking because you want also to get the feedback from the people. But if they start talking, they are not on the straight line. They're a little bit above or a little bit below, but that's fine, right? You want to be in control. Don't let them go to Uranus. Don't let them go to Pluto. Keep them as close as you can to the straight line, right? And so, one of the other things is if you want to get people towards the close, right? If you want to make sure that you're on that line and that you're not telling anything that is not relevant, then you need to gather intelligence. And Jordan Belfort talks about massive intelligence, which goes far beyond trying to figure out whether or not a prospect is financially qualified. It has to be more than that. And here he gives four stages. First, you have to identify their needs, right? You have to understand everything that they're going through, all the problems, not just the primary one, like he says here, not just the primary or the core needs, but also the secondary needs and the problems. Then you have to identify the core beliefs that they have. What are the beliefs and how do they impact their decision making? Then, third, you want to find out about any past experiences that they had with similar products, good or bad. If you're selling a coaching program, you have to know if they have already been through a coaching program before. And you need to know if it was a good or a bad experience and why. Because it's your job as a salesperson, as the business owner, if you're doing your own sales, to identify the gaps and to fill the gaps with what you have. That's your job. If you can fill the gaps that they have experienced when they have gone through or used another product, then the chances are that they will buy from you because you have actually something that they were lacking in another one. And the fourth piece here is you want to identify their values. What's important to them? Is it more important for them to just earn a lot of money or do they want the freedom? Because we within technology, we say more growth, more profit, more freedom. And one can be related to the other, but at the same time, some people value the freedom much, much, much more than the profit. Or some people just want to have that eternal growth mindset and they understand that as long as they have the growth mindset, the rest will come. And they're not so worried about that, but they just want to make sure that they keep growing. So if that is important, and if you're talking to people, if I'm talking to a business owner and I'm telling them that, like, yeah, so this person, right, is all about growth. Okay. And that's his most important value, let's say. And I'm talking about, yeah, you're gonna have the freedom, you're gonna have the profit, so much money, so much freedom, so much freedom, so much freedom. And I'm never talking about growth, or I just say, yeah, and you know, with the growth, you get all of that. And probably I will have a disconnect there. And probably I will lose that sale because I didn't really listen to them and didn't find out what their true values are. Because remember that you want to get them on the straight line, you want to get them towards making a decision. But if I'm talking about something completely irrelevant to them, I'm actually below or above those dotted lines. I am somewhere in Uranus or I'm somewhere in Pluto, talking about Pluto, and they hear Pluto, Pluto, Pluto instead of growth, for example. Right? I'm talking about profit, I'm talking about freedom, and what they hear is Pluto, 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 because it doesn't relate to them and they disconnect immediately. So be careful with that if you're doing sales. Now, this principle about the straight line is a great principle to apply into your sales. There are many others, of course, but I would think about this kind of principle, especially about building a rapport, but not that much that you actually are talking about bullshit, that you're talking about things that don't matter. And I mean, you can have a sales call for 2 hours if you want, talking about bullshit and eventually not having the sale. And you might say, yeah, but I built so much rapport, they will come back sooner or later because now they know me so much, they will buy from me. I don't think so, right? You're not here to, I mean, if you're trying to help them make a decision, you're doing sales. These persons, you don't know them, you're not their friends. You want to build rapport, but you don't want to build rapport to become their friends. You want to build rapport to help them make a decision. And building rapport means these things, getting the intelligence from them in a way that is human, in a way that is personal. That's what it's about. So anyway, that's what is in the book of Jordan Belfort, the Way of the Wolf. I don't know. Have you read this book already? Did you know that this book exists? Put it in comments. I'm really curious about this. Or what other sales book have you read already? What do you recommend that we talk about in the book club? Because this is not just me just showing you what I have read all the time. I also want to know about you. What did you read? What are you reading to improve your sales game? Because in the month of November, we're going to focus on sales within the Alan Proud Business Lounge here on technology, because sales is important. We're almost coming up to the end of the year, so we want to ramp up our sales. If we slow down, then what about 2023? You're gonna kickstart that again? No, just keep going right now. Keep those sales going. So we want to give you all the information that you need to make sure that your sales become consistent, stay consistent, and anything that you need, right, to do that. Like I've been there before. I've been in a slump, and now it's going great again. I'm closing local customers left and right. So for me, it's really a great period right now, but it can soon be all done again. So, but I have to make this consistent. And I'm applying everything that I have learned across the many years, last couple of years that I have done a lot of studying around sales. And I want to share that with you through these books. These are the books that I read. So I want to know, which books do you read? Which ones do you feel are impactful for your sales? Put it in comments, let me know. And in the meantime, also check out our site, right? The Alan Proud Business Lounge is open now, right here. Go to the site, click on Business Lounge, and just enter. It's a 30-day free trial, so there's no risk involved. You can cancel anytime, and you get all the sessions from our Titan Masters. Next week, there is a Titan Master session from Darren about peak performance. As an entrepreneur, what do you need to do to get into peak performance, right? We need to be performing as an entrepreneur, but actually almost like an athlete. So we need to perform. So that's for next week and many other things to come. So for anybody that's watching live right now, how are the sales going? Let me know in the comments. I'm here. Ask your questions as well. Ask your questions in the group. Ask your questions in the comments. I will make sure to answer every single one of them. That I promise you. But you have to ask them, of course. Otherwise, I cannot know what your questions are to help you move forward. Jordan Belfort, what a guy, what a book. If you haven't read it yet, go find it on Amazon. It's not that expensive, and you get a lot of value. It's actually a big book. Well, I mean, if you go through it, there's a lot of information in here that is very good. And some of the unique things that he's talking about is pretty funny, but you'll find out when you go through the book for sure as well. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for today. Been talking long enough. Hope this was valuable to you. Let me know if this is valuable to you. Let me know if you like this format. Let me know what else you would like to see from us. And I will see you soon. Have a great weekend, Titan. And yeah, I'll see you on Monday. Monday is another live stream. See you there. Bye bye.